We're
Recording.
recording.
Yay!
What a movie.
But did you like it?
Aspects of it I liked.
Yes.
And it fell apart on other aspects. And
Yeah, it fell apart for me in too many of them for me to say it was a great movie. Because I expect, like, I like Brad Pitt. So we watched Ad Astra. And it was Brad Pitt, and he was in a rocket going towards saving I was going to say the planet, but it's civilization as we know it. He was trying to save, and his father's, reputation as well. And he was narrating it. So who doesn't want Brad Pitt talking to them the whole movie? And it's like at the end, I was like saying to myself, shut up. I don't want to say that to Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be, I remember people talking about the movie over and over and thinking it was going to be wonderful. And I like him as an actor. It just fell apart. Like whoever did the screenplay for it just didn't know how to put stuff together. And it tried to be like 1999's or 2001 Space Odyssey, I mean.
Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. So this one reminded me of trying to be aspects of that.
You didn't like 2001?
Way too drawn out. I mean, I probably should look at it again, but I was so exhausted. Like, please make something happen. And then terror, and then nothing. And I was like, so, and it should have been exciting, but it's almost like, so he's sent by the government to the space program to go find out what his father's doing and find out later that, okay, you have to kill your father if you have to save the whole world. Like, so it's got that element of saving civilization. And so, but there's like, okay, we need scary parts. So, okay, so when they're on the moon, let's make them have pirates chase them. Okay, a chase on the moon, that's got to be great. And then when he's from the moon to Mars, okay, let's make something scary. Oh, let's have, rampant space monkeys attack people, flesh-eating, really? Okay, like, sure. But it was like, let's have a monkey. Let's have a flesh-eating monkey. Okay. Like, in that way, I thought I could have written it better. But, and then, so then he goes from Mars to the next place, and then he does the thing. And then to get back, he sets off the nuclear device, and his father's not in the picture anymore. And the shock wave of the nuclear device has him flung so fast that he bypasses the 3 separate trips that it took him to get there. And he ends up waking up on Earth again. I didn't get that.
Well, so they were interdispersing a teeny bit of reality in that. They were trying to develop rockets that would be propelled by atomic bombs, but you have to have a blast shield and the idea was you pop out an atomic bomb out the bottom of a rocket and you blow it up and it propels you, and then now you're going pretty quick, and then you drop another atomic bomb out the bottom and it propels you, and they would have all of these little atomic bombs popping out the bottom of a rocket, continually going faster and faster. So there's a theory behind that. They did a lot of testing with rockets and exploding pretty big munitions behind them to see how much impetus that would give the rocket going forward. So there's a theory behind it, but you can't take the blast of a nuclear bomb behind a regular rocket engines that are about to be ripped apart.
Yeah, and have them land just as, Earth, not like through the Earth, Yeah. So in that way I go, hey. But yeah, it was good. It wouldn't be one I'll watch again. But I mean, I like Brad Pitt talking to me, sure. And he, his dad's Tommy Lee Jones, and okay, they find him. But it's funny how both the father and the son were part of a mission where they the father ends up killing all the people on his mission because of mutiny, and Brad Pitt accidentally kind of kills all the people on his rocket too. And he can like, but I'll just put it on autopilot and we'll get to where we need to go. And so yeah, that became less believable. I wanted to believe it a little bit more, and I didn't.
Why did he? Dad wants to stay there and finish his research to find aliens. Well, how you done so far in the past intervening 30 years? You done any good? I haven't found anything yet.
No, but they're out there. Just you wait.
He's all by himself, and it would be the opposite. If you somehow survived and your son is coming, I don't care how cold you are to humanity and your son, that he was just my son. I don't have any special love for my son. He's just another human being, kind of. But to go back to Earth and taste food again, and you know what I mean, all the stuff that you would be able to do, and he's a crotchety old man who doesn't care about that anymore. Just leave me alone and let me do my research. It's the most important thing ever. And then it just not. The other thing that didn't make sense is, so I guess the father went to Neptune, and back when he went 15 years prior or 30 years prior, whenever they used antimatter to create some propulsion system or whatever, and it's now causing problems on Neptune, sending bursts of really bad stuff towards the Earth.
The surge.
Yeah, and it's the problem is if you sent something from Neptune to Earth, even that you were trying to create for propulsion, nothing would happen to the Earth. It would be such a small little, if you're just moving a rocket, by the time, even if you aimed it directly at the Earth, and the Earth is going around the sun, so you'd have to really think about, because when you sent it, the sun's not even where the Earth isn't even where you sent it anymore. It's moved. So you've got to use everything in combination, and that can't happen or be that way. That's not a physics thing that you could have that kind of energy to do that. That rocket can't have that. And they went, oh, I see this problem. It must be he's attacking Earth. What do you mean it must be? You know nothing. You don't know anything about anything. Could be an alien race doing it. Is more likely by far than him taking the ship and aiming some kind of thing to hurt the Earth. And he wasn't trying to go attack the Earth. That wasn't his and yet they went, we've come to the conclusion that he must be killed.
And his son has to do it.
Yeah. Well, no, they weren't sending him to do it. He decided that he was going to be the one going to do it. In fact, they took him off that job because he was too close to it. You know what I mean? They figured out that he wasn't able to handle it.
Well, the way movies are done, I was waiting for Donald Sutherland to come by on a later rocket and somehow, fix things or something. So in some ways it didn't, but quite often in the movie, like when they were approaching the ship with when they're on the moon and they mention pirates, it's like, oh, I bet you they're going to be a chasing. Oh, sure enough, there's a chasing. When they come up to this, abandoned rocket, you can't stop there. Oh, we have to. No, you can't. I was really surprised at the amount of religion in this movie.
There was a couple of times when
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And quite often when they talk about like this movie reminded me a little bit of Avatar, in the way of, they were kind of implying that, we are ruining the planet and we have to do something to fix it. And the fix doesn't seem quite right to me. Like sending Brad Pitt to blow up his father doesn't sound like that would be the right fix, but that's what the story was about. And quite often when it's quite sciencey like that, they rarely make it about God. So I was surprised that there was a St. Christopher medal thing, the send off with the funeral. They had words from the Bible or whatever it was. And so it's like, there's quite a bit of that. I was really actually quite surprised at that, of all the things that, came out of what people are hanging to on the earth when they're facing, that it was like scripture. Okay. Didn't make sense.
But it didn't make sense that the earth is in impending doom, and that there's so many wonderful things you can make pending doom for the earth. So many, incredible. And to do this one, which is like the most unrealistic doom of Earth is that a spaceship that went is now sending beams from Neptune towards Earth and the Moon and Mars. Like all of them are in trouble. In fact, the only thing that's going to survive is the underground installation on Mars. That's the only thing that's going to make it as all this stuff happens. And you're right. The pirates attacking on the moon were the Somali pirates. They were trying to.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, they're coming out and they're like, to do what? You're going to get this astronaut and his guy to take his briefcase and his laptop.
Yeah, I know. There was no real good reason. They're just going to chase him for the heck of it. To what better place on the moon, because they can bounce all the way across into space. Same with like they were bouncing into space. So he's got his dad's thing and he's going to blow it up, and so he's got to get back to his ship because his little ship he let loose, and so how's he gonna? So it's almost like there's the windmill's going. If you just get on the windmill, it'll fling you back to the thing. And when you look at the space, how big it was, it's like it wasn't going to fling him to right the spot he needed to be on. It was like I can't believe that one.
And he had to go through the ring. The
asteroid belt.
That's actually the rings. Like rings of Saturn look like that, little rocks. Yes. So the funny thing is why would he have parked his ship on the other side of the rings, take his little ship and go through that, all those things hitting his ship to get to the thing, just to come back and go, how am I going to go back through the rings? Why didn't I just park on the a
little closer? Like it wasn't like the Costco parking lot was full. It was like it's outer space. You've got to be able to find some or explain it like, oh darn, I can't go there because the radiation is just going to absorb and turn me into or what, I don't know, something. Like, I think it needed a whole lot of explanations to make it plausible, and they probably didn't have time for it. So they just asked people to suspend their, it's just like on Star Trek, they can't do time travel, but it's okay. Let's pretend they can. So we will. And but Kirk and Spock go back in time and become gangsters.
So the funny thing is you can go forward in time. We know that we've actually done that. Like when an astronaut goes out and then they come back, they are actually older than their twin that was on the Earth by a quarter of a second or something if they've been out for a year traveling at speed. But we know that works that way. We've taken atomic clocks and then put them on and went, how come they're not the same anymore? One's faster than the other one.
Yeah. Same with going around the Earth.
Well, yeah. When you're traveling at a speed relative to the other thing, that's why. They in the Planet of the Apes, what was great about that was they didn't even realize it, that they went forward in time so that they end up coming back to the Earth and the Statue of Liberty is in the ground. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, we came back to our planet. We actually traveled fast enough, came back to Earth, and it's now in the future. And the apes have taken over and all mankind has died off. And we're on that there's that famous scene where he sees the Statue of Liberty and he, it was our planet. We've come back here. So that was actually brilliant because they didn't say, I wonder if we traveled forward in time. Like they actually had to figure that out by seeing what's left.
Yeah, it became part of the puzzle as opposed to try something to be explained, because some readers some watchers have to have it explained because they just don't, like, I don't know enough about space travel to know that it took 3 flights to get him there, but one real fast one to get him back to land him just on Earth on time. So
well, because he had the atomic blast that helped him go so fast.
Well, then just give him an atomic blast to get him out there and stop the surges from perhaps.
It's just one atomic bomb. If you saw him have it, he was able to lift it like this and put it down. Yeah. That gets you from Neptune to the sun. Like,
well, and the thing is, I never get the stuff that so he leaves and he doesn't seem to be like, not packing a suitcase. So where's he getting his clothes from? And like, I don't know. There's just too many questions that I kind of don't get, but that's okay. And it's like the one lady he meets, your dad killed my parents. And it's like, okay. And then he accidentally kills all the people on his ship. Okay.
I love that. We got to go help this Norwegian biology ship because they
Yes.
sent out a distress signal. Let's
Yes.
go. Let's just go open the door.
Yeah, despite that there's pirates on the moon.
Yeah, exactly. And how about going on the ship, knocking on the door, see if people knock back? You know what I mean? Like that's what you do in underground mining disasters. You know, just you hear somebody banging on something to say, "I'm here," and come save me. But in this one, they do a for sure dead ship, because nobody's answering distress calls anymore. Like,
no, if the chimps should have learned how to talk, and then or hit the button that uses the help us
with an android speaking voice.
Sure. So they tried to give us an adventure, and they kind of did, but there was too many holes in it for me to say, oh, what a great movie.
Well, the movie The Martian, I've not seen it. I've listened to the audiobook.
I loved The Martian.
Yeah, and I can imagine, because
Matt Damon.
The only thing that was, so one of the things that I know about that, because I read the audiobook, or listened to the audiobook.
You so smart.
Yeah, I'm one of the more literate people in our family. I read the audiobook.
I listened to the hard copy, the paper copy.
Because I'm not lazy. I read the book, audio version. Listen.
Yes.
So in it, they talk about the storm happening, and then the ship not being able to, like, it's listing, and that was the problem of it taking off and him not being on board, how he was left behind because of this sandstorm. Well, there are sandstorms on the moon. The problem, on Mars, the problem is the atmosphere is so thin that it's real easy to move sand around. The gravity is less than Earth, and the atmosphere is so thin that as sand gets sort of propelled, nothing's really stopping it. There's no air to really stop it. So the amount of wind to knock over would have to be going at such an incredible pace to like. They have little twisters on Mars that sort of build up sand and little small tornadoes and go down. You would stand in there and there wouldn't even be a breeze. It's such thin air. It's 1/100th as thick as ours is. So you go out of a car window driving down 100 miles an hour and stick your hand out, it would feel like my hand blowing on it now. You'd feel next to nothing. So you couldn't knock over a rocket with wind.
Right. But the Martian, I was rooting for him, and every terrible thing that happened, I was right along with him. And by the time I was watching near the end of this one, it's like, I don't really care if he dies. So what?
I didn't care if he died either, and care about his dad. And all the effort to get his dad off, and didn't say, Dad, is it okay that I save you? Is it okay that I save you? Like, in other words, no, I'm going to try and kill myself on the way out. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to probably take you out with me. You know what I mean? Like, say something about that.
Yeah.
He just committed suicide in the middle of
but then you don't even really know, because like he went, out into space, and then there's a nuclear bomb, but it's like, I don't know, aliens could have picked him up and gone and made him the overlord or something. I don't know, because we didn't see it. So and it didn't set itself up for a sequel or anything like that. He just saved the planet for the Surges.
Thank goodness there's no sequel.
Yeah.
Minus Astra.
Well, and it's, I can't, like, I hate, bashing anyone's efforts. I mean, they put a considerable amount of time and effort into it, but it's like, okay, you didn't reach the demographic of, chunky housewife. It's got a bunch of kids. Yeah, you didn't reach me. Could have had Brad Pitt fall in love with someone, even the monkey.
You could have had love interest. He could have fallen for that girl whose the parents were killed. She could have come with him.
Yeah, or something.
Good
and then she chases his dad around, and he chases her, and someone gets murdered. Like, something could have done. He could have come back with his dad. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that could have happened.
The other thing that you can't do that they didn't sort of describe there, you can't just put a 180-pound man on a rocket and have everything work the way it was. Every single pound is accounted for on a rocket. Like,
well, not by then. By then, they have it all figured out.
You would still have that same limitations.
You would think.
So what happens is when you need to launch a rocket, you need an amount of fuel. Well, if you have an extra pound you bring 1 extra pound on, well, you need an extra pound of fuel, or 2 pounds or 5 pounds, to get that new pound off of the surface. And then you go, but wait, that fuel, if we needed 5 pounds of fuel to get that extra, it weighs 5 pounds. We need another 80 pounds to get rid of that 5. Well, then we need more fuel for the 80 pounds we just put on. So it's the diminishing returns for so 180 pound person blows it all out the water, because you need so much more fuel. You would need 2 tons more fuel to get that 180 pounds off, because fuel has weight.
Well, I thought the one thing, when he accidentally killed that whole crew after the monkey thing and whatever, I thought at least he's going to be able to eat all of their food that they're now dead and they can't eat, all the way to wherever. And that will also get him back, because he's got all these people who are gone. He can eat their food at least. So you can't have him, trying to.
They didn't seem to say that he's going into sleep hibernation. They seem to think you're going to be there in a couple of days.
Well, it gave us like 70 days or whatever it was. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. And the tough thing is, as tough as it is to get off the earth, braking to slow down is the same kind of tough. And so he just, it's like slowing the car down by putting it in neutral and just sort of coming to a
onto
nice
the planet.
Yeah. But conservation of momentum means if you're going that fast that you can get there in 70 days, you are flying past Neptune like so ridiculously fast, it's not even funny. And then now you have to put the brakes on. That's really hard to do. It's as hard as it is to launch it. I got to turn the rocket around and do the same amount of fuel in the opposite direction to slow you down. That's it. That's all you got. Unless you want to crash on the surface.
So some flaws. I'm glad that I watched it. Sure, it was, but it was almost fun to. I won't say fun to poke fun of some of the, but it kind of was.
Oh,
but yeah, I would heartily recommend The Martian. I enjoy watching that, even though like there's parts of it that is like, oh my goodness, it all blew up, and oh, this is terrible. And it's like, oh no, I know he's going to make it. So.
Yeah, I like that he had to plant potatoes and poop and like go all the nauseous kind of stuff you would need to do.
I have a question. I have a question for. I was talking about how, what is it? It's about the idea that we're destroying ourselves, and this is what this movie was talking about. And then we always seem to discover we want a simplistic narrative. So to save us from destroying each other, or the surge, you have to go and you have to take your dad out because he's doing something wrong. Okay, that will take care of it. And we always seem to want these very simple answers. Or, we have greenhouse gases. Okay, we're going to stop using aerosols. Okay, that's good. Or we're all going to get electric cars. Oh, that's good. Now, I have a question. You might know this, and this is going off topic, but so for the people who are vegan and they don't want us eating any animals at all, so we'll have to grow an awful lot more vegetables. Where do we get the fertilizer to put on the vegetables to make it grow if we don't get it from the animals?
You can get it chemically. In fact, I would think almost all the fertilizers are chemicals, nitrogen and mixed with other stuff, and you make fertilizer. So you'd be able to do that probably even from natural gas byproduct when you're using it for something. Like, there's a lot of ways to solve that problem. The real problem is the number of animals that are killed in growing vegetables. When you have a combine go through and pull all the corn out, it's killing an enormous number of animals, like even rabbits, and like enormous. You have no idea how many animals are killed. That's why you're allowed so much mouse poo and stuff in, in anything you eat. They always have like 1 in 8 parts in a billion, no problem. Like, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Raccoons are killed, and like a lot of animals are killed. Certainly not as much as eating meat.
Right.
But the difference is in eating meat, you grew that animal to kill it. So you've not subtracted a natural
disastery thing. Yeah. No, I was just wondering, because we seem to want these simple answers. Okay. Plastics pollute the planet. So, a piece of plastic straw goes up the nose of a turtle. So we are going to ban plastic straws because that will take care of all the turtle with the straw in their nose problems. So we seem to want simplistic answers. Like, go send the son out to kill the father so that there's no more surges and we can live happily ever after. And it's never as simple.
Information, and they had no information on what's causing the real what's actually making this happen. Could it be him?
The father could have been holding the whole planet together with his bare arms the whole time to keep these surges from happening, and they want him to go get killed. And it's like, you don't even know the answers. They have no communication.
Yeah, I know. We've just figured this out from obviously he communicated back because he said, did you hear from my father? And then they went like, so something happened to know that somebody knew something else was going on, but he wasn't doing it on purpose. There was nothing happening. He wasn't aiming at you know what I mean? Like that. And they never answered like why it happened accidentally and why it's heading towards the earth. And he's like, I could say, I'm mad at Earth for leaving me alone out here and for giving me such psychologically poor crew that they all wanted to mutiny me. How about the fact that if they all want to mutiny you, they're probably right and you're probably wrong?
One would think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So an interesting movie.
I like science fiction, and I was probably about a quarter way through it and went, this is going to be a good movie. It's interesting. But the way they put it together, and you're right, the bad guys on the moon was by far the most silly, indescribably.
They lost me truly at the monkey. The flesh-eating monkey on the abandoned ship.
What was that? Remember My Favorite Martian?
Nope.
With that robot. What was that robot?
Mr. Robinson? No.
Yeah, the Robinson family. What was that called?
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Yeah, I don't know his name.
That wasn't My Favorite Martian, or was it?
There's Lost in Space and My Favorite Martian.
Okay, Lost in Space. That you see the movie Lost in Space?
No.
It's on Matt
LeBlanc, right? Yeah.
Blanc and
maybe we'll watch it next. No, we need another decade.
Mimi Rogers is on it. So it's a scientific thing happening, very science, well done, reasonably. And then it just falls apart with this little comic CGI'd little gremlin-y kind of pet that now becomes a pet on the planet that they land on. The pet ends up being and it's obviously CGI'd in, and they're all looking, oh, come here, little tickle, and it had nothing to do with that. It's almost like they went, what can we do to make kids more interested in this movie? A little pet of a little cartoon character that runs around and everybody has fun with. Like it was.
They did the same thing in Galaxy Quest when they're on the planet, all these cute little babies, and it turned out to be
But Galaxy Quest was such a good movie.
It was.
Oh,
it was. It was done so tongue in cheek in a lot of places, and it was just good by Thor's hammer. It shone in so many places, and the geeks who went, and it's the little geek who saved the whole thing. And
his mom says, "Take out the garbage. Take it out now." I'm saving. You have no idea what I'm doing, Mom. You don't know.
I'm gonna save the planet, Mom. Yeah, that was a great movie. Okay, I think we're done talking about the movie.
Yeah, I think so too. So
because we've gone on to 2 other movies that we'd rather watch.
Well, we're good. We're telling our vast audience.
Our fans.
Yeah, exactly. I think
I'm all one of them.
I think I'm going to set up an OnlyFans and a Patreon so people can donate on a monthly basis. Set up a Patreon account. That would be nice, don't you think?
Sure. And I think that the problem is you and I will have problems. The movie studios will be courting our affections by sending us swag and stuff like that because they want us to
screenplays for us to adjust them. And I think that's something that will
very plausible. Very plausible. Yep, that'll happen any minute now.
Okay, let me stop the recording. Say goodbye to every wonderful person who decided to stop by and
bye
listens to our ramblings. And this is how I stop it. See ya. Bye.